All right, for spelling, we're going to do page 109 in your spelling workbook. I highly suggest you don't tear this page out because the back side of that page you're going to need on Monday when we introduce our new spelling list. And it's hard to keep track of loose worksheets, but if you leave it in your book, all you have to do is turn the page and you'll be able to do your assignment on Monday. But spelling page 109 gives us a chance to practice putting words in alphabetical order, which I think is kind of fun. It's a little bit like a puzzle. Your worksheet actually has the alphabet written on it, which, when we do alphabetical order in the classroom, we have our alphabet across the top of the board, and you can always check up there if you need to remember, okay, where does that letter come in the alphabetical order? Even grown-ups sometimes have to say the alphabet to themselves in their mind when they're trying to figure out something in alphabetical order. So having it written right there on the page is handy for this worksheet. The very first questions, I'll do those with you. They're talking about how, here's what your worksheet says. Alphabetical order. To put a list of words in alphabetical order, you look at the first letter of the word, then you look at the second letter of the word. Now, if they're all the same, you have to look at the next letter of the word. Usually, a lot of times when we're doing alphabetical order, we can just look at the very first letter. If they all start with a different letter, that's all the information we need to have. But if they all start with the same letter, like these do, goose, gown, gold, we go to the second letter. Now look at these. They all have the same second letter as well. So we're going to go to the third letter. And to keep track of what we're doing, we're going to circle the third letter in each of these words, and we're going to start there when we work on putting them in alphabetical order. So judging by their third letter and using our alphabet right up here to guide us, which one of these words comes first in alphabetical order? We can look up here. We can find O is here. Oh, W is way down here. But L is right here. So that comes first in the alphabetical order of these. So our first answer will be gold. Okay, you might put a little check mark by it or something just to make sure, oh, I did that one. Now what comes next is the O. The O is right here. The O comes before W, so we know this word comes last. Goose, and then gown. So now the bottom part of the worksheet, you have 4 groups of words that they're going to ask you to put each group of words into alphabetical order. And you're going to follow those same instructions. Of whatever letter is not all the same, you'll circle that one and you'll alphabetize them all from that letter. It looks like for all of them, it will be the third letter, same as we did here at the beginning. Your math assignment today is to do your chapter 14 review page. This is page 243 and 244. Now, when you complete this review page, I need you to turn it in. Be very careful that both sides of the worksheet you get a clear photo of and send them in to me because this counts as your quiz. Okay? So I need you to do your best work on it. Make sure you get a really clear photo of both sides and it gets turned in correctly on Teams, and then I will be able to grade it and enter it into your grade book as your quiz. Okay, you guys have worked really hard on multiplication, and I know that you're learning it and your math brain is strong. I want you to do your best work on this page. Turn it in. Okay. In history, we've started our new chapter. We're learning about the Revolutionary War. Yesterday, we talked about the French and Indian War and how it came just before and set the stage for the problems that came next. So I want you to open in your textbook to page 158. That's where your reading will start today. That says, a new king, new laws, and new problems. Okay? And there's a picture, a painting of that new king. During the war, Great Britain crowned a new king, and as soon as the war ended, King George III had debts to pay. And this led to new taxes. which led to all sorts of troubles, okay? I want you to read pages 158 to 160 in your history book. Your question at the end of your reading is, why were many colonists angry about the new laws? Okay, so if you don't know the answer to that when you get done, you should look again at your pages. And the next page, page 160, the heading says the Boston Massacre. Okay, when you do your worksheet today, you're going to use your history book to find your answers. Okay, it says, look at these pictures and use page 158 to complete the sentence. So you're going to look at these pictures and be able to complete this sentence using the information you find on page 158, right? And on page 159, you'll be able to find the answers to these. There were different points of view about what to do next and how people felt about how things were happening. That answer is on page 159. So I want you to read these pages, and then I want you to answer the questions on this worksheet, on the front side of this worksheet. And if you don't know, it actually tells you use the pages in your book, okay? And on page 160, you'll be able to use that page to write a sentence telling about the Boston Massacre. So again, we have pictures, we have time order words that show what happened, first, next, last, and you're going to use these pictures and page 160 to create your own sentence telling about the Boston Massacre. Remember, a sentence begins with a capital letter. It has an end mark. It's going to need a verb, needs a subject, and the ending part of the action part of the sentence, okay? So that's your history assignment for today. Read in your textbook and then use those textbook pages to answer your worksheet questions. Okay, in science, we're going to do a little activity to play with magnets, kind of play with what sort of things do we already know about magnets? What might we guess about magnets? And we're going to do the activity page that's on 147 and 148 in the workbook. Okay, so we haven't actually read the portion of the chapter that's about magnets yet. We're kind of wanting to just do this small activity to experiment with, make some predictions, and do a little bit with magnets before we even get to the section where we read about them. I think it will make it even more interesting when we read the portion about magnets the next day, okay, if we've done this activity. Okay, so when you open your workbook to page 147, you see it says magnetic attraction. This is a problem we're solving, or the question we're answering is which items are attracted to a magnet. Now, they gave a list of these materials. I couldn't find all of them. So I came up with some of my own materials, and when you fill out this thing, you can use my materials. If you want to just put where it says button, just change it to bead, okay, things like that. You can just use the materials that I wrote, just mark out the ones that they did, and because I will help you start this project, but then you're going to finish it on your own with things around your own house, okay? So let's look at the objects that we have. Here's the objects that I have. A bead, I'll point to it too on the bead keeps trying to get away. A bead, a rock, some keys, a Lego Wonder Woman, actually, a quarter, a bobby pin. Oh, and I wrote paperclip, but it's actually a safety pin. I should fix that. They're similar. Safety pin. Now we'll look at these items and let's think about each one. Let's think about what they're made out of. What material are they made out of? So that's what, in your chart where it says description, you're going to want to think of what each thing is made out of. So the bead, it is made of plastic. The rock is made of rock, right? It's stone. The safety pin is made of metal. I don't know what type of metal. I just know that it is metal. The keys are also metal. The Lego is plastic. The quarter. It's a type of metal, but it's different than, say, the safety pin or the keys. And the bobby pin is, sometimes bobby pins are metal and sometimes they're plastic, and I'm not sure from looking. So why don't we wait before we write down what its material is, and we'll find out maybe, okay? Now they want you to go down your list of items, and I want you to circle which ones you think the magnet will attract. Okay, so you're making a prediction. Remember, we always talk about that. Scientists wonder, they make a prediction. They use what they already know to kind of inform the predictions that they make, infer. Remember our science word? So let's circle what we think the magnet will attract. We're making a prediction, we're making a guess. And you can do this. Why might you already know some about magnets, even though we haven't turned the page in our textbook to read the section about magnets and how they exist in our world? Why might you already know a little bit about magnets? What do you think? Well, magnets are something they're in our world quite a bit, even if just most people use magnets on their refrigerator to put up things they don't want to forget, or really good coloring pages that they want to admire for a while, photographs of friends, okay? You also might be familiar with magnets because there's a lot of toys that include magnets. I actually brought some. We played with them in class a lot. Remember, I brought my box of magnet blocks. So you have some awareness of magnets because you've played with the magnet blocks, Mrs. Parsons' magnet blocks, right? So we'll use what we already know to help make our guesses. Okay, so we have bead, it's plastic. Would we circle that? Do we guess that that will stick? I don't guess that it will stick, so we're not going to circle it. A rock. Now, we don't actually know what this rock is made of. Some rocks might be metallic, might have magnetic properties. I don't think this one looks like it. Now, the safety pin, I'm going to circle because it's metal and it's lightweight, and I think that the magnet will pick it up. We have keys, and I'm not actually sure if the magnet will pick up the keys, which are metal, or will just pick up the key ring, because I don't know. Some metals are picked up by magnets and some aren't, but I'm going to guess, I'm going to predict that they do pick up the keys, the magnet. Now, the Lego, we know this is plastic. This Lego doesn't have any metal in it, so I'm not going to circle it. Quarter, remember we said I'm not sure what it's made out of exactly, where we don't know the exact composition. So I'm not going to guess that it's going to pick up, but I could be wrong. And you might want to predict something different. The bobby pin, like I said, I can't tell if this is a plastic one or a metal one. So maybe I won't circle since I'm not sure. Some of my bobby pins are plastic and some of them are metal. So now we're going to gather. We want to have our chart with us, and we want to test our guesses, test our predictions of what will stick. I have this magnet from school. You guys used to like to play with this one. Remember, I'd always say, please be careful. It's a pretty strong magnet. I don't want it to smash your fingers. Okay, so in the book, it suggests you might want to dump everything that you're testing into a bag and then just reach in with the magnet. That could be fun if you want to try that at home. I wanted this to be where you could see it, so I'm doing it like this. We put the magnet over the bead. Oh, and nothing happens. So our prediction was correct about that. How about the bobby pin, which we're not sure if it's plastic? Oh, could you see it? We'll put it over there, and it picks up. So this bobby pin, even though I couldn't tell from the color of it whether it was metal or plastic, it is metal. So that one, our prediction was right. I was trying to test the rock, but nope, nothing from the rock. How about this safety pin? Yes, the safety pin picked up. So our prediction about that is correct. About our Lego, nothing, nothing. How about our keys? It's not picking up the keys, but it is, oh look, it's connecting to the key ring. I wondered about that. I wondered which it would attract. It didn't. You notice it's not doing anything to the keys themselves, but it is attracting the key ring. We have our quarter. Yeah, nothing. Okay, so you're going to use the information. You'll turn over your worksheet. Although I want you to see how there's space for more. I want you to choose more things around your house to test. Okay, and just go ask your grown-up, can I use a magnet from the fridge? Or if you have any kind of magnet toy like this. And I want you to test some things around your house. I want you to add them to your chart and then make a guess. Do you think they'll be attracted or not? And then I would like you to go test it. So then on the back you will write down, did you predict that it would attract? Yes or no. Circle your answer. Were you right? Yes or no. Okay, and on the bottom, you're going to write down what you learned from your test, from your this chart that you made. What did your results teach you? What are some conclusions you can draw? Because that's what scientists do. They wonder, they make predictions, they test their hypothesis, and then they draw conclusions. Based on what we did here, what are some conclusions we can draw? What are some things that we observed about magnets by doing this activity, right? And then you're going to, when your chart is filled out, and I look forward to seeing what kind of things did you come up with around your own house to test with magnets. I want to see those on your chart as well. You can use the ones that we did together and then also add some of your own and fill in your completed chart and turn it in on Teams. Okay, in English, today it's time for you to take your thinking and planning about your how-to paragraph and make it into your final draft. There is a page for you, page 271 in your English workbook that sets you up for being able to write your how-to instructions paragraph. Okay, so it gives you a place at the top for your title and for your name, and then it even, the way that the lines go, it even helps you remember that it needs to be indented. A new paragraph always is indented, moved over just a little bit on a paper, right? So you're going to use that paper to write your final draft, take a photo of and send to me to explain how to. And you've all chosen topics, and I have encouraged you that if once you were trying to make a plan, if you realized it was too complicated, make sure you think of ways to really simply do your topic, because this might sound like a tricky assignment, but all you need is a sentence that is your topic sentence, a sentence that tells what materials you'll need, 4 steps to follow, and an ending sentence. Okay, that's not very many sentences. You can do it. Okay, so you're going to write your title, then you'll write your name. It has a place for your name. Then you start with your topic. You're just telling us what you're going to tell us about. Okay, I'm going to tell you how to draw a dog. I like to draw a cat. Something like that. Okay, it could be I like to make hot chocolate, right? Making paper airplanes is fun. Any of those can be topic sentences. So you write your topic and then make a sentence that says you need, and tell the materials. To make a paper, you can make it simple, okay? Making hot chocolate is fun. You need warm milk, cocoa powder, a mug, something to stir, okay? Then after you have said your topic sentence, your sentence that says what you need, that's your materials, you will start using your time order words and you will tell how to do this thing in 4 steps. All right? Here's an important thing we've learned right now is that your time order instruction words, you will say first, comma. Okay? Then you'll say, what's the first step? Then you'll choose what is your next one. You can say second, or you can say next, comma, what happens next, okay? So you want to do it in 4 steps. Your final step will either say finally or last. And then you have an ending sentence that just sort of repeats your topic. Okay? Making hot chocolate is fun. You need blah, blah, blah. First, next, last. Hot chocolate is delicious. Ending sentence. Okay, so I want you to work on this. Ask one of your grown-ups or an older sibling to help you if you need some help crafting your sentences and getting them onto paper. Okay, remember that a sentence begins with a capital letter. It always has an end mark. You need to have a subject and a verb, okay, so that your sentence makes complete sense. You're going to do great. I look forward to seeing your final drafts turned in to me today.